Hi, and welcome to Our Bodies. I'm your host, Eric Wareheim.
I'm Tim Heidecker, who's just here, just along for the ride.
Yeah. Our Bodies is a medical show where we take tough questions and give you medical answers from our in-house doctor.
Dr. Laursen, whose book, Mark Laursen book, the Mark Laursen book here, The Inside-Outside Diet. Written by Mark Laursen, MD. And here he is on set. Did you tell us a little bit about this book?
Well, the rest of the title is How to Lose Mental Weight, Emotional Weight, and Physical Weight.
Permanently.
Permanently. Because they're all tied together, and that was the basis of the book.
One thing our fans should know is the spelling of your last name is a little funny. It's Laursen. So when you are looking this up on Amazon, make sure you have that locked in.
We prefer the old classic Gary Laursen spelling, Larson. But we are stuck with a needless U and an E, which should be an O. That's our 2 cents, right?
Right. But I also just want to say I don't want to confuse. That's what we prefer as a spelling, but that's not what you would. Don't type Larson into the internet because you're going to get.
If you do, you get Gary Laursen. You get some.
It's a great time still.
Comic strip is the lighter. What's it called?
Garfield.
No. Anybody?
Far Side.
Far Side.
Far Side, oh, of course.
Would be great.
Our next episode is.
Buy the book.
This week on Our Bodies, we are focusing on penis and vagina. It's two very important organs that most people have, and we will be diving into sizes, shapes, problems, health, and cleanliness and upkeep of the penis and vagina. We're very happy to have you, doctor, to really dive into some of our questions and some of the viewer-based questions to get to the bottom of what is a penis and what is a vagina.
Let's start there. What is a penis?
It seems like it's something that everyone would know the answer to, but
That's very disrespectful.
men have penises, and women who are XX usually have vaginas, usually.
But what is it?
The penis is a soft tissue, muscle, and glandular, and arteries and veins and skin, and that's the penis.
But why do we have balls? Why do we have hairy testicles? Why does it shoot jism? All of those things.
Well, you know, your why question is really not something I don't know if anyone can answer. But I can tell you more about what it does and the function, of course, and all what's related to that. For example, you mentioned why are the testicles on the outside? Well, women, the testicles are essentially on the inside, so there is another version of that. So why it is what it is, as you would know, we urinate and we procreate with it, part of the tools.
So, dialing in on the testicles, it is a genetic, evolutionary mistake that they sit on the outside of the body, in your opinion? Or is it something that perhaps eventually will recede into the interior of the body over millions of years?
That I don't know either, but I can tell you that the testicles make the sperm, and the sperm require a lower temperature to be active. Hence, when they're outside of the body, you can have active sperm, and if they were trapped inside, they would not be active sperm. They would not be fertile.
Now we're getting somewhere. That's interesting. Dr. Laursen, if you were, let's say, living 5,000 years in the future, and you were a renowned, Dr. Laursen was the household name across the globe, or whatever country you would be in at that point, 5,000 years from now, who knows? And you were tasked by the supreme leader, whoever would be, again, who knows? And let's call him Manny. Manny says, design the male organs from scratch, because we have the capacity to build a human being from scratch now. What would your dream body be? What would you change? What would you dial in? What would you fix?
Well, I think the maintenance has always been difficult. You mentioned body odor. I think making it more easily maintained would be good, but I don't know how to do that.
I'm saying you would have all the tools of whatever they have 5,000 years in the future. You'd be able to, let me help you out. You put the balls in the body.
No, but then your testicles wouldn't be active, your sperm wouldn't be active from the heat.
Could I answer that question? And this is without any medical, but I've thought about this a lot. Not only what life would be like in 5,000 years, but what I would do to my stick and berries if I could advance them. The first thing I would do is get rid of the low hangers. They'd be up inside. There'd be some kind of temperature controlled zone.
That's right. See, you don't think 2 steps ahead. You couldn't just status quo put them up into your body. You'd have to regulate the temperature in there, create some kind of conditioning inside there to regulate that. Go ahead.
The second thing I would do is there would be a large kind of indentation in the stomach region, so your penis could stay erect 24/7 and it would live up in the stomach. So if I lifted up my shirt, you would see indeed the erect cock, and through evolution, my stomach would have a holder for it, so it would be smooth. When you wear a nice blouse like this, you would not see the shape or size of my cock, but it would be indeed ready for action.
What keeps it in there, and then what lets it out? Is there some muscle involved?
Absolutely.
Or is it?
Well, it's extremely hard all the time.
That'd be interesting.
It'd be an interesting farming
And
technique.
Yeah, that's from a non-medical experience, but that is from a lifetime of having a dick and balls and looking at it and thinking about how it could evolve and how it could be more.
Well, if I could give you
manageable.
my vision of the future, if I was tasked with reinventing the region, is that our penis would be fully receded into the body. So you'd be flat down there. You'd be a fully flat Ken doll. And when you had to pee, it would come out on command. And then when you wanted to have sex, it would come out longer and harder. No balls in sight. That's probably the better way to do it, instead of this gland up here, this flap.
Well, we have different ideas of that, but one thing we do have in common is that there would be no balls.
All right, now we've glossed over the female sexual organ. It's a complicated organ, lots of different moving parts. What do we need to know about that organ? Keep it brief.
You need to
'cause
know
some
a
of it
woman.
gets a little messy.
What a man needs to know, what a woman needs to know, are going to be quite different.
Well, we have our audience is men and women, so don't think about it that way. Don't be chauvinistic.
Okay. For the woman, of course, she needs to maintain her hygiene too, and she needs to know what can cause infections and what's related to having healthy body, healthy intercourse. So she needs to know.
We've all smelled that rank vagina before, I think, men and women. Women probably more, because they're connected with their own scents. But I've been in relationships where that was an issue.
Well, if you remember, when the skin is against skin, you tend to have more smell, decomposition, and the vagina tends to be like that automatically. Because it's internal cavity.
It is, isn't it?
Is there something you can do to clean it, have it be in perfect health every day? Just like the penis, we know that we need to scrub all the areas and dip
You
it.
can't put a bar of soap up there.
Well, it's actually not recommended that women do that or douche even. They used to, but they don't recommend that now. Some similar external hygiene as a man, but other than that, it's about the same.
Where does the, I mean, this isn't a medical question, but the term pussy come from? What is that? What?
I do not know where that term came from.
Let's get the answer.
The term pussy originates from the evolution of the female vagina. Circa 500 BC, all women had phallic cats as genitalia. Over time, those cumbersome phalluses evolved to fold into themselves to become the vagina. Today, we often refer to the vagina as a pussy to remember the pussy cats that once kept a watch fly from between a woman's legs.
No. A pussycat.
Clitoris?
Yeah.
Female ejaculation, maybe?
Oh,
That's
thank
nice.
you, Drew. What is the point or purpose of the liquid, the substance emitted from the female during the act of sex, the female ejaculation? Is it just simply for lubrication of the penis?
Squirting has been called. A few women do that. Where actually it's so robust it will actually do that.
It's quite interesting that a man, when he's going to spooge, it could be a fountain of jism.
If we were 5,000 years in the future, would it make more sense that we emit a capsule, a gel capsule? Imagine something like a Advil liquid gel, little baby boy like that. You've taken him after a hard night, and that pops out of the penis and travels up the vaginal canal to attempt to fertilize her egg, as opposed to that messy spunk that we're getting all over ourselves and gets sticking to our toilet paper after we masturbate. Is there just a more compact, sanitized version of the delivery of the sperm seed that we could imagine 5,000 years in the future? Yes or no?
It seems that you are imagining that.
Thank you, doctor, for shedding so much light on the penis and vagina, two very important organs to the human body. Please join us next week where we will be discussing gas, mostly anal gas.
And burps as well, and all the nasty gas that comes out of our body. We'll be joined by Dr. Laursen one more time.
Dr. Laursen will be back here and discussing all sorts of things, the farts and burps.
All right, we shan't forget all the words of wisdom, Dr. Laursen.
You're welcome. Thank you, Dr. Laursen. The point of the show is to be real about this, and I know farts are funny, but I like to get to the core of why we do toots and all that as well.
Absolutely.